just started hanging out a little bit and kind of mutually agreed that we should create together, right? And so we're working on the first music video, which we gave ourselves like less than a month to make, I think.
Yeah.
And so at one point we had like 16 days left, and then we had like 9, and it seemed like those 7 days went in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, because today's what?
31st.
Yeah, this does have the watch on it, in case if anyone's thinking like, yo, why are you looking at your watch for the date? But but it is it's a couple days off right now. So, but yeah, the plan is to release it next Friday. So, we felt pretty ambitious about it, but we also, having conversations about like where we want to be and like how we want to like actually really tap into like our creative, outlets, and really just grow in them. Like, what better way than to push ourselves? So
Yeah, it really helps. So we sat down a few days ago, 2 days ago only, at Chick-fil-A, and we were like, okay, what days can we shoot? Mm-hmm. And we circled Wednesday, which is today, mm-hmm. and we said we could do the therapy session and we can do the football.
Yeah.
And the therapy session opened up literally yesterday, or Monday.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
No, it was yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday when we talked about it. So we solidified that, and last night the yoga place opened up literally the same day.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, we'll shoot this tonight. Let's just do it right now. And so now we're like 75% done in the blink of an eye. Instead of being scared that we won't finish it in the blink of an eye,
Yeah, technically 80 because we have 5 locations, right?
Right.
So at least from the shooting standpoint, but yeah, we've been moving fast, and like, I would say like at least personally, like I know the idea of doing stuff is exciting, but then like I haven't throughout my life honestly been the best at like really like writing stuff out and like putting pen to paper, like, all right, these are the dates that we're gonna lock in, to show up and do this stuff, but like we were saying before, like, honestly it wasn't until last year when I was rehearsing for Creation Fest, with my band. It was like a month out, we were a month out, and we still felt like we had a lot of things to tighten up, and so that's when, my DJ Angie, he was just like, all right, like we gotta get these dates locked in on the calendar, like, all right, boom, 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 boom. These are the dates that we have available. If you can show up, you can show up. If not, you're just not going to rehearse that day, and it's going to affect everybody. And so it was like, all right, like, that's when it got more serious, but it showed because we were, like, super polished, like, the day of, and, like, we killed it. And so, I'm like, all right, how can we apply that, between us now that we're, like, on the same page and, like, want to, like, really work together. But even beyond that, like, I feel like what's been really cool about us, connecting since like you came back from Dallas is just the fact that we've been able to get us on the same page, like from like a art direction standpoint and like from a personal like conviction standpoint, because like anyone can like be like, all right, let's work, like how many times on Instagram you hear people be like, hey bro, let's work, like and it's just like, well, we could do that, but like what are we actually trying to accomplish? So
yeah, what are you gonna accomplish? Yeah, and we're both like creative, so creating schedules and being practical doesn't come that easy.
Yeah,
but like mutually we're pushing each other to step into that.
Yeah,
because as creatives, like I guess maybe you're born with a artistic bend to you, but you still have to practice the gift. So it's the same thing with being organized. Like we can be organized, we just choose not to.
Yeah,
sometimes,
or maybe it just doesn't come as naturally, like in some areas, because I know, for instance, like like when it comes to like organizing folders, like I would say I'm pretty good at that stuff, but then when it comes to like actually like sticking to like a routine and stuff, like I'm really not good at that, or at least I haven't been. I don't want to say it in a way that makes it seem like I'm always going to be like that, you know what I mean? Like there's been some growth, but definitely not as much as I would like to where it feels like, oh, this is just, mentally, like we're in a good rhythm, right? And so, but I think like the fact that we've been teaming up, you know, and like really just keeping up with each other, you know, has helped a lot. Just because it's a lot harder to do when you feel like you're kind of by yourself in that, right? And so,
yeah,
you know,
because you just get in your head,
mm-hmm.
and you don't have that external like motivation that
Mm-hmm.
pushes you.
Yeah.
So like, I woke up, we got home at like 3 a.m. yesterday, or I did, and
yeah,
went
I was
to
a little
sleep.
later.
Yeah, you were a little later. And like woke up at like 9:30, didn't get out of bed till 10, 11, and I texted Demir. I'm like, I think I texted him. I was like, "Are we doing the therapy thing?" And he's like, "Yeah, at 12. Like if you could do that, like in an hour."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "All right." So you know, if I was alone, I would have just been like, "I was out at 3 a.m. last night. I'm not doing this today."
Yeah, facts. No, I'm not gonna lie, man. I woke up and I felt the same way. I was like, bro, if I didn't wake up to a text from them saying like, yes, this location is available for us to shoot at, I probably would just taken a rain check too,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and be like, nah, I'm good, like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too, is like in our like, you know, progression of like getting better at planning, putting stuff down, even it's literally happening. Growth is happening in real time, which is really cool. So, you know, as that's happening, we're just seeing that like, you know, I think what's really been encouraging too is seeing like how much people want to help, you know, like how people do want to do whatever they can to like give us access to what they have, and like, you know, even go out of their way for us, you know, like today even, like, so for more context, we shot at New Life Philly, which is a church pretty close by to where we're at right now. We're currently at Penn Charter High School, which this campus is crazy.
It's like a college.
If you can see what we're seeing, like this joint is like a college campus, like, whew.
Yeah.
You'll see it in the music video that we're shooting.
It's
know,
like
but
if you played Madden and you did like, or if you played like, the college football.
oh, NCAA football.
Yeah, this is like one of the fields you choose.
Yeah.
When you're in high school.
Yeah, you're like, yo, one day I want to play here, you know? Yeah. Kind of reminds me of Duke University, although it doesn't have like a ton of castles, but like low key, like that corner over there that we shot at, like definitely it gives me that vibe. But yeah, anyway, so we didn't know until like literally like 11 a.m. this morning that we were gonna have access to this place, and so with that, even then they like extended our stay till 2. We thought we were only gonna have an hour available to record, and David actually spilled a matcha coffee or matcha drink all over his shirt as we were about to walk into the church. So that put us back a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Not to put you on blast, but to put you on blast. But
Put me back a couple minutes. Put me in debt.
Yeah. Wait. What kind of shirt was that?
It was a shirt I made, literally. Yeah.
Oh,
sucks.
snap.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, dude.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a cool concept, but I didn't know. I thought it was like maybe some like unique designer, because I know you're into fashion and, you know, you keep up with designers that are, you know, doing some really like, you know, like out of the box things, you know, pushing like fashion forward. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, it might look cool, you know, in a few days.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, let's pray that green comes out. I'm not gonna lie. It didn't look like a kid, like a little baby, just like, you know, had Gerber food, just like
barfed up.
Like
I became a dad.
That John was green, but it did fade a little bit.
And then
thankfully.
Demir broke the light in the store. You forgot you did that.
Yeah.
So that, you know, added a little bit of time to the cleanup.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, we got extra time. And then here, no one's on the field right now. And there was a soccer coach who came up and he's like, I won't say anything. Like, just stay, you know, just do your thing. So we've had, like, I would say, grace in that. But at the same time, like, we wouldn't have grace if we didn't show up.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
And if you didn't ask people hey, like, do you have a place? And sometimes you ask people and you don't get a response, but if you ask more than one person, you're more likely to get a response, which happened.
Yeah, man. And it's dope too, because, you know, I don't want to take away from, like, at the core, what I think has really made a difference in all this is, like, you know, really relying on God for direction and just, like, praying before we make decisions, you know.
That's true.
I don't know how much the mic is going to pick up of, you know, people on the track right now, but we could keep sliding, you know what I mean? But it's been really nice, like, encouraging to see it. It feels like God has been, actually, I should probably wait. That bell is strong. Like, how many schools you pull up to these days that got a bell every hour? You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's
like
great.
what? Like,
That's
but anyway, yeah, like, I think it's been really cool to see that it's felt very seamless so far. It's not to say that, like, we're never gonna face challenges or anything like that, but none of this has felt forced, at least to me. You know, I hope that you feel the same way. But, you know, it's felt like God has really, you know, had his hand in this and was like, yeah, like, you know, like, you guys seem to be a good fit, and so you're making plans. And I mean, the Bible literally calls us to, whoa, he just did a whole 360 720 flip. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, like, you know, he, like, it's been dope to see how the Lord's just allowing stuff to come together, and it doesn't feel like we're really trying to force anything to happen. We're just planning. You know, the Bible speaks to, like, it says a lot about being diligent with planning and showing up, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I would say we haven't faced a ton of external difficulty, but I mean, I keep telling you, like, yesterday I felt off, and today I still felt off.
Right.
For the 1 hour I was awake before seeing you, I felt off. But there is, like, I think there's it's like the law, it's like a law of the universe. Like, if you put work in regardless of how you feel, like, it will turn out good. Or at least it will turn out a little bit better than you imagined. Or you will get better, you will grow. You know, like, just showing up and putting the work in is something good has to come from that. Instead of just giving up before you even try, even though you don't feel like doing something.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's why, like, planning and preparing, you know, because with, like, even things like music videos, like, there's a lot of different aspects to filmmaking in general, you know, and, like, the kind of art that we're trying to create is not just, like, your typical music video where we got flashy cars and, you know, people dancing and stuff, like, flashing whatever you want to flash, you know, for vanity's sake. Like, we're trying to, like, convey a message, you know, and, like, actually get people to see something that's compelling, that they can see it all the way through and, you know, ask questions and, you know, think about things, or even just enjoy it, or just, like, be introspective about it, or, you know, reflect all these things, good things. So with that, like, you know, that automatically, like, requires us to be a lot more diligent and, like, preparing ahead of time. Like, all right, like, how are we gonna prepare each scene? Like, even, like, a lot of the attention to detail, even with, like, what we wear, how we angle the camera, you know, like, the lighting, the position of a lot of different things, props that we use, you know, like, I could go on and on and on, you know. Like, a lot of those things, like, the more you think of and prepare in advance, like, the easier it is, like, the day of. And so, you know, but if we're, like, doing what we're naturally, like, more comfortable doing, which is, like, oh, like, we'll shoot one day and then we'll follow up the next week and be like, yo, bro, what day are you good to shoot next week? You know, we just constantly have this like, you know, kind of off rhythm. You know, it's a lot easier to go based on how you feel in that moment than like, okay, like I made a commitment, so let me just focus my feelings and direction on that versus like, oh, how do I just feel right now? Do I actually feel up to it? You know?
Yeah, that's good.
So
you put it in the schedule, so you have to stick to it.
Yeah, and of course it should be like a basic concept. I don't think we're probably not saying anything that like anyone's never heard before, but you know, I think a lot of times as creatives, like, you know, we might feel like that limits us, but I think there's actually freedom in knowing that like, hey, like I don't have to put so much like emotional like magnitude and like depth and like do I feel like I'm capable of creating that day? Like if it's already like within us, if like God's put something within us, like it'll come out. You just have to like make space for it, you know?
Yeah,
so
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have to make space for it. Yeah, like if you wanna make a song, most of the time the song's not just gonna come to you while you're on a walk. Maybe if you wrote the day before and you've been thinking about it subconsciously, but that's because you made space to write the day before.
Right.
You know, like if you haven't been creating and you haven't been in a space of giving yourself time to create or even to think or to get inspiration or to come up with ideas and concepts, your subconscious isn't going to help you out. It's not just going to pop up with ideas for you randomly. Like there have been seasons, by seasons I mean like months of my life, like when I came back here I didn't want to do anything creative, so for like 3 or 4 months I didn't get any creative ideas except for like a week or two when I was creating a consistent routine for myself where ideas came to me because I was like, oh, I have like some sort of box and cage to go live inside of, and the ideas came to me within that box because it's like concentrated and focused. So I guess the energy comes to you because it knows where you are.
Yeah.
If you're all over the place and you don't have a space, the ideas are just gonna go somewhere where they can actually find something to like grab a hold of, if that makes sense. That's like a very ethereal idea, but
yeah, no, I'm tracking though. I mean, yeah, it's just because it's almost like, how do I put it? It's almost like, it's kind of weird analogy, but like it's probably not the best, but like, you know, if you see like a bunch of like, all right, I'll give this one. I think the other one was not as good, but like, have you ever seen those like TV shows where like people have like a cash box and then like they turn it on and then the fan just starts like blowing like crazy and people are like trying to reach for, you know, however many dollars that they can, you know, within that time frame. Like, you know, sometimes like it can feel like, you know, inspiration can hit us randomly and then we're trying to take grasp of like, oh, like let me try to grab onto this idea, like, you know, while it's hitting me. But then, you know, it's like in a way, you know, that can be exciting, but then if you don't actually take what you grab from that, like in this case comparing it to the game, like the money, you don't actually like put it to use, then what's the value of like having that money in your hand if you're not actually like doing anything with it, you know what I mean? And so like I feel like when it comes to like creativity is like yeah, like I mean, I've had times where like I've been on a walk and like I've had like personally that like I have had inspiration come up, but that's also because like if I like made it like a plan to like exercise regularly, like exercise for me like helps me to like clear my mind and just think about new things. But even that, it takes a plan, you know, like, and there's a lot of parallels that like I've mentioned to you before that I draw to like fitness and like sports. I draw a lot of parallels to like creativity. And so like, you know, you might randomly one day wake up and be like, oh, I'm feeling good, I want to go for a run today, you know, but then, you know, the next day you might be sore and then it's like oh, well, I don't feel good today, so I'm not gonna run. And so it's like, but is running once in a blue moon actually gonna really do much for you? You know, probably not. Or are you gonna make much progress? No, you know. So like, there's nothing wrong with going on a run once in a blue moon if it's like good for your mental health. But like, if you're actually hoping to see any like real fruit from that or results, like you gotta cash in, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like we could probably go on for forever, but you know, is there anything else you'd like to mention for now?
No, honestly, like when we came over here, I was like, I kind of want to talk about this, like how I have not felt that good recently, even though we're creating. But the creating feels good. Like it's like natural dopamine or whatever that you get after you put the work in, instead of like dopamine you get from just giving up and like, you know, quicker dopamine by just choosing to give up. You know, I don't know if that dopamine is like, I don't know if this dopamine is any greater than that dopamine, but I know that in the future I'm gonna be way more grateful that I put the work in and didn't settle for the lesser dopamine.
Yeah, I mean, because I think there is something to be said about like we've all been there, not even related to the arts but or creativity, but like we could just simply have people like in a social setting, right? You're like, oh, you have plans on Friday to go out and do this or that, but then like Friday might come and you're like, yo, I don't really feel like I want to be that social tonight, you know, or I don't want to go to this specific place because it's going to require me to be like extra social, and I'm just like feeling like I just want to stay in and just like lay on my bed and play video games or watch a movie or something, or do something for myself, like create or whatever. But even in those moments, like I experience that a lot. People think that I'm like a super outgoing, but like I have a lot of times where like I have that initial feeling of like, dang, like I'm not gonna lie, like I think I'd be more comfortable and I'd feel like a short-term relief if I was like, oh, I'm just gonna like not go, you know. But then so a lot of times if I overcome that, then and I show up to the event, like 99% of the time I'm like, oh, this was awesome. Like, why was I even like tripping so much about showing up? Like, this was great, you know? So sometimes like it might naturally happen for whatever reason, but like, you know, it could be social anxiety, it could be whatever, but like, you know, usually in most cases it's better to show up, and you're also training your mind to like follow through, you know? And so that becomes easier the more you get better at it versus like, if you get into a bad habit of like flaking all the time, which I've been there honestly, like, you know, it's just like you feel like you can't even count on yourself, you know. It can get destructive,
and then you become more insecure instead of more confident. And it's like an exponential thing, because if you can rely on yourself, you get more confidence in yourself. You're able to interact with the world on a greater, more loving, patient, kind level. But then also you're able to become more successful because you're more confident. And confidence, I feel like, is highly related to success.
Oh, for sure.
So,
yeah, man. Yeah, that's a bar right there. We'll do this dope convo. I would like to keep going, but I feel like we can't unveil everything that we could talk about in one day, you know, in one sitting. Or we could, but you know. But yeah. We're gonna drop this video hopefully next Friday. The song is finally finished. I've been working on it tirelessly for the past few days to get the mix and master done. But I think it's good. It's ready. And this video, we're gonna push ourselves to get it done. But the plan right now, tentatively, is June 9th. Oxygen is the song, you know. So yeah, we're just waiting on cover art and that. My friend Brittany's doing it, so. She's crazy dope visual artist, so yeah, I'm excited, man. It's my first single dropping like almost a year and a half, which is crazy. And we'll talk more. Yeah, I know, right? We'll talk more about all that later, but yeah, I'll just say a quick takeaway is, you know, don't try to do this creative journey on your own, you know? Like, even if you do struggle with like social anxiety or just any form of it, like, you know, find people that you love and trust and just like get connected with them, you know, because like they will be able to encourage you and push you a lot more than you can for yourself, you know.
Yeah.
And they'll inspire you too, you know.
Inspire you, and don't feel scared to like reach out to anyone, because we're all insecure on some level.
Yeah, even the most dopest, talented people have their moments of insecurity, you know. And if they don't show it, it's probably pride, really, you know.
Yeah, and then it's
still insecurity. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, my guy. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah. Nice. Let's see if it's still recording.
Oh yeah, I think you.
It is, yeah.
Praise God.
Oh, and it's like not that dark either.
Nice. Should I pause it here then?
Yeah.
All right, cool.